Oh, it's Saturday, and I just got my hair cut, and I feel amazing. Had a great time last night on the live stream with Justin. It was great. Why am I making this video? Well, I had somebody reach out to me, a friend out there, private message me about they're starting their own shop and what scan tool to buy, and there's a lot of videos on scan tools and what's the best scan tool, and we all know that they all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses. I guess I'm going to talk about why I chose to buy a Snap-on Zeus. Now, there's been a lot of people out there like, I would never spend that much money on it, on Zeus, and Snap-on's ridiculous, and their prices and their capability isn't really all there. And I can totally get that. I've had problems with mine. I've had to use the Autel at times. I've had to use my Snap-on Zeus at times. There's times where I wanted to have the factory scan tools. There's times I wish I had every scan tool, okay? So don't take this video as me promoting my Zeus and saying that that's the only scan tool that you've got to, that's the only scan tool and it's the best on the market, because it's the best in certain aspects, like graphing, and I would say the fact that it's Windows based. So here's some of my reasons why I decided to make the investment in a Zeus, okay? Or a Snap-on scope scanner, if you will. First of all, it's Windows based. I'm used to Windows, okay? I like the platform. I like the fact that I can save my files. I just like that about it. I like the fact that I can pull my wiring diagrams, and I know there's other scan tools that can do the same thing. So again, I'm talking about the Zeus here. I've made a video about scopes, a scope rant video. I'll link it in the description below. Talking about this, I like the fact that it's got a 4-channel scope on it. I like the fact that it's all in one. Is it lacking in certain areas as far as bidirectional capabilities go? Absolutely. I've had issues with the Autel, same thing. Me personally, I do not like the Autel's graphing. I don't. I've never been a fan of it. I think it's slow, it's laggy. However, Autel will give you things that Snap-on won't, okay? So I really honestly think both are my favorites. So if I was buying today, what would I go with? Well, of course I'd go with the Snap-on. And here's why. I'm getting a 4-channel scope. I'm getting a computer. I'm getting access to a lot of the information. I use Protoman, and Snap-on owns Mitchell, right? I personally like Snap-on scopes. I like to use them. Now, a lot of guys and gals out there are like, I gotta get a Pico. A Pico's way better, blows it out. Of course, the Pico scope is amazing, and I'm not knocking the Pico. I'm just saying that I don't really need it. It's not that I don't like it. I think it's cool. I think it can do some amazing things. I think it's a lot more user-friendly. It's just for what I do, generally speaking, my Snap-on does just fine, okay? For about 95% of what I do. Are there times where I wish I had a Pico scope? Absolutely. In-cylinder analysis and the sharing of the waveforms and stuff, I think is definitely a lot better. The zooming and the zooming capabilities and all that stuff, okay? But on the flip side of that, it's also just a scope, and I have to have a computer to go along with it. So in a shop atmosphere, I'm bouncing around a lot on cars. My Zeus gets used a lot, okay? And generally speaking, it does a good job. I also like the fact that I pay a monthly subscription and my updates are done. They're just done. It stays current. I'm good. And it really just comes down to preference, guys. I like Snap-on scopes. I'm used to them. I've used it that's what I use. So I'm used to, how to zoom it, how to set it up, what to expect. I know that the tool has its glitches, but a lot of them have been fixed with some of the patches and the updates that they've done. But generally speaking, I do like my Snap-on Zeus. Okay, I don't use intelligent diagnostics on there. I've never been a fan of that, just because I want to be able to look at the data and come up with my own diagnosis. I do like the fact that I have reference to TSBs, tech tips in there, component information, identification. All that data is pulled out of ProDemand, and it's right at your fingertips on the scan tool. As far as SureTrack goes, I've never really used SureTrack. I've never been an Identifix kind of guy. To be honest with you, most of the diagnoses that I get, generally speaking, I don't need it. Of course, I look out there when I need to, but I've never really, some of the codes that I'm dealing with on some of these newer ones, there are no top hits, okay? You're the top hit. You got to figure it out. Or reach out in the automotive community and find the answers, okay? So why am I exclusive to the Zeus? Well, that's because I've got everything I need. I can email on it. I've got it. It's same as my desktop at home. When I go on my desktop at home, it's basically mirror image. My Google account and my Gmail account are all tied together in it. Again, personal preference. When I'm on a car and I'm in the car, and rather than run back to my toolbox and have to go on a computer and get a wiring diagram and print it out, I can literally be right there with my lab scope, my 4-channel lab scope on my Zeus, and then just bring up my desktop. I have ProDemand right there, and we're done. Okay, so that's kind of my thought process on it. Again, I like how Snap-on lays their scan tools out. They're fast. Generally speaking, they're very fast in auto IDing the vehicle, but it really depends on what you work on. Okay, because I work on a lot of newer vehicles, guys. Like, most of the vehicles I'm seeing are 2010 and newer. Okay, doesn't mean I don't work on older cars. It just means that I work on domestics, 2010 and newer. Now, Ford, Snap-on can kind of be a little bit more. They don't really give you everything, but there again, that's Ford. You would have to have the factory scan tool in order to get a lot of that information. But it depends on your experience level, and it depends on how good you are at your job. And really, as far as scopes go, again, I am exclusive to the Snap-on scope because I like to use Snap-on scopes. I might get some hate for that, but I just generally like the Snap-on scope. I think it's more, like I said, it's right at my fingertips. It's there. It's one package. And a lot of times for what I see, I don't need to get all crazy with a lot of this stuff. It doesn't mean that there aren't times where I wish I had an 8-channel or, a Pico or stuff like that. Like I said, there are times, but the amount of times I would actually need that versus what I do on the daily, does it justify me going and spending that, those thousands of dollars for something that's a nice to have, because unless that's what you do, like a lot of these mobile diag techs, that's what they do. But I work on engines too. I'm doing heavy lines. So I got hand tools I got to consider buying. I've got a lot of tools that I have to buy in addition to owning that scanner, scope. So why did I go with it? Well, that's why. The Autel, another great tool. For programming, and it's got a pass through. If you get the one with the J-box, it's a great tool. A little slow, but it does the job. So, I don't work on a lot of Europeans. When I worked at another shop, I was working on a lot of Europeans, and I used the AutoLogic, and I thought that was a great scan tool and stuff too. But there again, it really depends on what you work on. I would love to own a launch. Now, I know you can get some of these, like the Digons and stuff, like you see people talking about that. Well, here's the problem I have with a lot of them scan tools. One, they're not made in America, and I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with some overseas, I'm not dealing with it. I'll be honest with you, I got a lot of personal opinions on that. Garbage, in my opinion. No, they're good. They're good tools. Don't get me wrong, but the stuff that I see coming from those areas is usually pretty. It's not exactly anything I want to own. So I'm a little exclusive to Snap-on, and I'm okay with it. Just like when it comes to tools, I'm not a tool review guy. I have Matco in my box. I have Mac. A lot of my test equipment, my old fuel injection pressure tester kit, my compression tester, a lot of those kits and stuff, Mac. I went with Mac. Okay. All of my power tools are Mac, because they're DeWalt too, so like I can take my batteries off my tools at work. They work on all my tools at home because I own DeWalt. Does that mean I don't like Milwaukee? No, I just decided to go with Mac. Okay. Because of that. So it really just comes down to personal preference. I mean, I'm not knocking any brands or any manufacturers out there. I personally am just giving you my insight. Most shops you go to, generally speaking, there's going to be a Snap-on scan tool there. Why? Because for the average tech, it's user friendly. Not saying that your average tech can't learn to use another platform, but some of these scanners and some of these scopes are a little too over your head for the average. Okay, and a lot of shops aren't going to deal with that. They're not gonna put up with. They want something that's quick, down and dirty. Like the Modus Edge was a great little 2-channel scope scanner. I mean, I love that Modus Edge. That was the first one I started with. And it was quick, it was fast. I could get my waveforms that I needed. It really just depends, okay? Obviously, a 4-channel is the way to go in my opinion. But so that's why I spent the money. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money to invest in, and but I didn't buy a big epic toolbox, so I could have spent $30,000, even $40,000 on this huge toolbox, or I can buy myself something that's more what I use on the daily, which is the Zeus. Okay, and I use my Zeus constantly, guys. It's in all my videos. Why? You'll see me using the Autel as well, because they're both great scan tools, and that's what I have, and that's what I've invested in. I'm not buying. I would like to buy a new toolbox, of course, but I work with what I got. And that's really my best advice. You got to stay within your budget, and you got to think about, what you can afford and what you need. If you don't need why would I buy a 4-channel Pico when I got a 4-channel scope already that's serving its purpose? Like, it's doing its job. I really don't need a Pico scope. I really don't. Like, some might have argument with that and be like, oh, you don't even know. You don't even know until you own one. You're right, I don't. But I'm getting by. Like I said, 97, 98% of the cars that I see and diagnose, they get fixed with what I have. Could I have saved some more time if I would have had the other platforms? Maybe. But, you got to go. I was going for my best bang for all around. And that was my best bang for all around. That's why I chose that platform. I like the graphing capabilities of it. And it's tough to beat a Snap-on's graphing capabilities. I'll argue that one all day long. So, anyways, hope you guys like it. If you disagree, that's fine. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think. I know there's a lot of videos out there about this. I just figured I'd elaborate a little bit for the individual who reached out to me to kind of give some insight as to why would I spend, basically buy a car. That's why. Okay. I look at it as an investment. I use it a lot. It's the most used tool I own. The most used outside of my 10 millimeters and my 1/4 inch drive set. I mean, my 1/4 inch ratchets and my 1/4 inch get used the most, and my my cordless tools, right? Those get used the most outside of my scan tool. So, hope you guys liked it. Have a great weekend.